Hi, everyone. I wanted to take just a few minutes and, similarly to what I've done in previous assignments, talk to you about one of the last ones that's coming up for us, which is the PR Cause campaign assignment. This assignment is split up into two different parts. For the first part, you're going to write a mini PR campaign based on a cause that you would like to see taken up in the Pocatello or the ISU community. The second part of the assignment is to write a news release related to that cause that you are going to be doing a campaign on. So let's talk about each of the parts. Overall, a campaign is one of the most important elements of working in the PR profession. A client will come to you and say or identify a need, and the campaign will work as a roadmap in order to address or alleviate whatever that need is. For this assignment, you're going to create one that includes 6 different elements. You'll include a situational analysis, an identification of the audience that you want to target with the campaign, specific objectives that you hope to meet by doing the campaign, the strategies you'll use and the tactics to implement those objectives, and finally, the evaluation stage. A little bit more about each section. For the situational analysis, this is when you establish what the campaign is going to do. You can think of this as the 5 W's and the 1 H. So who, where, what, when, why, and how. And this is also the section that you're going to include your research. You need to demonstrate that there is a true need or a true problem in the community that a PR campaign can help address. So whether that's lack of awareness, lack of participation, lack of donations, whatever that might be. But in the situational analysis is where you're going to identify that problem and then prove through research that that problem exists. The second section is where you identify the audience. This is going to be a very specific demographic that your campaign messaging will be targeted to. So you can think of this in terms of ISU college students in the 18 to 22-year-old age range. You can think of it as men, women, adults, children. So just think through typical demographic information, and that section is going to be very small. You're just going to identify what that target audience is and then provide 2 to 3 sentences as a justification for why you chose this audience. The third section is where you'll list your objectives. You need to come up with 2 objectives that will be specific and measurable. The assignment description does a good job of leading you through the formula or the framework of how objectives should be written. If you need more insight or guidance on how to write objectives, go back to week 5 on Moodle, and there is a reading there literally called Objectives, and this will give you some very specific information about how to write those and create them. One tip is that every single objective needs to start with the word to, T-O. So if you look back on your objectives and you use the word TO to begin that objective, you're off to a good start. And again, there's a formulaic version on how to write these. You need a number and you also need a date. But look at the assignment description, that will give you more detail on the objectives. The strategies and tactics are ways that you will conduct the objectives. Those are the next 2 sections. And then finally, you'll end with evaluation. And evaluation is where some students get caught up because they think they have to actually do the evaluation, which you clearly do not because you're not going to be doing this campaign. In the evaluation section, you're simply going to identify how you would conduct evaluation. So if you were going to raise awareness about a blog that you wanted people to read, you could do a pre and post survey among your demographic to determine if you've raised the awareness by 25%. You could have an objective where you are going to get 3 press releases published in the local newspaper. So your evaluation would be to read the newspaper to identify whether or not you had 3 stories that came out of your press releases. So again, don't overthink the evaluation. This is simply a section to say how you would conduct the evaluation. And remember, the evaluation is to determine if you met your objectives. So when I'm grading, I'm going to be looking at if your evaluation section clearly relates to the original objectives that you created. The Assignment description also gives you links to student examples of excellent PR campaigns. So click on those links if you need more details. And then it ends by giving you a worksheet. So this is the easiest part of the assignment. You simply have to go on and copy and paste the worksheet element onto a blank Word document. You delete all of my wording except the headers, and then you go in and you fill the headers in with your own information. So I tried to make it as simple and easy for you to do as possible. Once you finish the PR campaign, you're going to include a works cited to cite whatever that research was that you utilized in your situational analysis. And then the second part is the news release. So following the same format that you did earlier in the semester, you're going to write a news release that relates on some level to what your cause is. So if you're holding an event, or if there's something newsworthy about your campaign that you would want to get to a local media, that's what you would do for this news release. If you have any questions about the topic that you are thinking about, email me. I'm more than happy in the next little bit to get back to you quickly with a response just to make sure that you are headed in the right direction. I wish you luck as we get towards the end of the semester. Again, email me, and when you're ready to submit it, just submit it as a Word document to my email address, hartkar2@isu.edu. Thanks so much and good luck.